Hello, I'm Simon Roderick and I'm the Managing Director of FramSearch. And I wanted to talk about two topics today that's in everyone's mind, and they are, is London finished and working from home? Well, cities seem to have a very interesting history when it comes to their coming in and out of fashion. There was a good article in The Independent recently which discussed the Tudors leaving London during the sweating sickness, and how after 9/11 and the 2005 bombings, property inquiries outside of London surged. But as we all know, London rebuilt and built back better. We built higher buildings, we built more buildings, and occupancy rates were extremely high, and property prices continued to grow from 2005 despite the financial crisis. So I think you'd have to be a brave person to bet against London coming back. But of course, there is one fundamental change since 2005, and that's that people can work from home now, and that the technology is there and it's better to enable people to work from home. And this has been a huge debate for lots of firms over the last 2 or 3 months, and we've reached a crossroads now as firms are trying to work out their strategy going forwards. From what we're hearing, most firms are going to start to reopen their offices in September. And this is going to be a staged return, with perhaps 50% of the team going in 1 week, a deep clean, and then 50% of the team going back in the week after. And we think this probably strikes a nice balance. The problem with the debate that's been seen in the media more recently, that it's been very binary. It's been working from home is better than being in an office. And as we all know, the truth is probably that it's balance that is the right strategy going forwards. The truth is that being in the middle is normally the right place to be. There are enormous benefits to working from home. Better family life and work-life balance. For some functions, you can concentrate more and be much more effective. And of course, it's better for the environment too. But for other people, it's not so good for their career. It does disadvantage younger people who perhaps live in shared accommodation and don't have a good workspace. It also inhibits their ability as well to get known within a business and to build their networks. And as somebody said to me, how is a younger person ever going to get known and promoted if they're working from home? So of course there are challenges, and there are lots of interests that we need to balance up. And I think one thing that the financial services community mustn't do is lose the gains it's made around social mobility and understanding its wider responsibilities to the communities in which they reside. Financial services realised a long time ago they had a problem with diversity, and they've worked probably harder than any industry, in my opinion, to rectify this. But of course, if people don't go back to offices, the people that are most affected by this are those that are in unstable, lower paid jobs. And unfortunately, the data seems to be that that's people from underrepresented communities. So I think the city needs to find a balance between its new way of working and not decimating the businesses around it. But of course, it's hard to go back to where we were because the genie is now out of the bottle. People can work from home very well. I've had some people calling me desperate to go back to the office, desperate to meet new clients, but for whatever reason their company can't facilitate it. Equally, I've spoken to some people who are more nervous, and of course we don't always understand other people's circumstances. They may live with people who need more shielding against the disease than others. But one thing's for sure, nobody has an appetite anymore for paying for expensive trains or for taking long commuter trains for very little purpose of going into the office. And I think it's a real issue for the government. The government perhaps now needs to rethink its transport policy and perhaps might need to be targeted in how it supports the return to cities. Perhaps they need to subsidise train travel for the next 6 months to get people more comfortable with going back in and also more willing to go back into cities. Perhaps they need to be more targeted around Eat Out to Help Out, which has been a spectacular success. I'm seeing lots of people going out Monday to Wednesday in my community, and therefore they might need to target it more to city centre restaurants. But certainly, if we can go to gyms and we can go to restaurants, most of us know that we are lower risk and we can go back to offices. And I'm picking up on the mood that I think most people want to have an attempt at normality, understanding we need to take precautions. So we'll get through this. I think London will be stronger than ever in 5 years' time. That's my personal opinion. Certainly none of us have a crystal ball. And I look forward to seeing a step up in activity in September. But until then, I wish everyone a good summer. Hope everyone stays safe. And if you've got any questions about what we do, please don't hesitate to contact me.